Hi everyone and welcome to Pay the One and Breaking Down the Deck.
Wow, today is super exciting.
Yeah, today we're gonna look at Mill.
What?
Yes, this is Law and Lee, Royal Advisor from the Avatar set.
What?
You know, it looks, if you look at this top card here, it's all black, but you have the ability that's blue further down. So this is Ademir Commander for Ademir deck. This is all mill, no shill, full on kill with mill. Everything this deck wants to do is mill. There's like one or two other things it wants to do, but it's just to stop people from stopping you from milling them. And yeah, this is like not a deck that you win with combat damage or whatever win cons. This is a deck that mills your opponent, takes all the cards from the library and put them in the graveyard, and just keep them in the graveyard and just exile them from the graveyard and just stop people from drawing cards. And what happens, Anders? Can you tell us what happened if you're unable to draw a card at the beginning of your turn?
I think you lose the game.
Yes.
If you have no library to draw,
Yes.
you lose the game.
And remember, everyone, mill is love.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay, show us.
Love.
Show us your love, Dan. Let's go to the deck. I want to see this maniac.
Yeah. Hi everyone, and welcome to this deck of Law and Lee. This is from Avatar. I'm just gonna show this beautiful card. This is from one of the jump starts, where you get like a pack of cards. And yeah, in this card, in this booster, I got, of course, Law and Lee Royal Advisors. So as you can see, this is a mill deck, a mill card, and a commander that wants to do mill. Whenever an opponent discards a card, mill one or more cards. You put a 1/1 counter on each advisor you control. For 2 colorless, 1 blue or 1 black, a target player mills 4 cards. So this is all about the mill. Let's see how we mill people, right? So let's start with the Planeswalker. This is Jace Memory Adapt. For 1, draw a card. Target player puts the top of his card or her library into his graveyard. That's kind of boring, but for 0, target player puts the top 10 card of his or library into the graveyard for -7. Any number of target players each draw 20 cards. You're just gonna do that 0. Just, maybe something want to draw a card. But it's really mean just to put 10 cards in the graveyard for 0. And okay, let's just stack this up right here. When you play commander, you can just have 1 of each, unless it says you can have any numbers of cards named this or that. In this case, it's the Persistent Pensioners. It's a cheap mana cost for a human advisor. 1, tap it, target player puts the top card of their library into the graveyard. Or you can tap 4 untap advisor control, and target players put the top 12 cards of the library into the graveyard. This card today, if you have like the errata or a newer version of it, it would say mill. It doesn't say mill exactly on the card, but it's mill. So of course we're gonna 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It's put lots of this in them. And what's good with these cards is that you can tap them at any time, and you don't have to pay for it. So you can just wait until before your turn begins. So at your opponent's end step, boom, just tap, and when it's your turn again, you get them back. And what's good with the combo with the commander is that these are also advisors. So these, when you make your opponent mill card, you trigger the ability on Law and Lee, where you get +1/1 counter on each advisor you control. So look at this. All of these cards are the same. And yeah, as we talked about earlier in the introduction, thank you, Andrews, for helping me and giving me guidelines with this deck. This deck was originally my Lasav deck, which is a more of a crime deck, a targeting graveyard deck, than a straight out mill deck. But you can always find stuff in your deck to build a new deck. So okay, we need to have some more stuff, just not the same creature, right? So this is the Dreamborn Muse. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player puts the top X card from his graveyard into a graveyard, where X is the number of cards in his or her hand. So, you know, if you play with someone who plays like Reliquary Tower, Thought Vessel, someone has like lots of cards in the hand, this is really mean. Another mean or fun card, depending on how you see it, is the Fleet Swallower. It's a fishy, big fish really. And when it attacks, target player puts the top half of his or her library rounded up into her graveyard, and just find ways to make this unblockable, swing, and just go stuff. The Consuming Aberration looks scary, right? So this has the power and toughness that are equal to the number of cards in your opponent's graveyards. So you just mill stuff and mill stuff and mill stuff. You know, with the advices that we looked at earlier, right? If you mill 12 cards, at least 12 cards, this is a 12 for 5 mana. Kind of crazy. And when you cast a spell, each opponent reveal cards from the top library until you reveal a land card and put those cards into the graveyard. So if you're facing anyone who's like, you get all the lands out real quick, this can be really mean. And Notion Thief, yeah, you know what this one does, right? It has flash, and if an opponent draw a card except the first one in the draw step, instead the player skips the draw and you draw a card. So it's like kind of a mean card draw. Mind Skinner, I have no idea what's going on here, but it looks super scary. Legendary enchantment creature, and it's a nightmare. Of course, it's from Duskmourn, you know, scary stuff. It can't be blocked. If a social controller would deal damage to an opponent, prevent that damage, and each opponent mills that many cards. So just this one in itself, it swings for 10, and you know that will trigger this ability, and they will mill 10 cards. It's just 1 in toughness, so you know, might be smack kind of easy, but it's just 3 mana. I think it's like a fun addition. Ruin Crab, landfall trigger. Whenever land enters the battlefield in your control, each opponent mills 3 cards. Ballasted Spy, it's a flying vampire. When it enters the battlefield, target player reveals card from the top of the library until you reveal a land card, then put those cards into the graveyard. So I would say this is a mean deck. This one to put stuff in the graveyard. And what's good with everything that like puts stuff in the graveyard, it helps your commander and it helps all of the petitioners you have. You need to make them stronger. Tiny Bombs, just fun to play. This is from the earlier crime deck, one of the cards I had in there with the sub. If it had Death Touch and which damage the player, you may cast target non-land permanent card from that play graveyard, and any type of mana can be spent to cast that spell. And you're gonna put stuff in the graveyard, in people's graveyard with this deck, trust me. Take Desperado, another one from an earlier crime deck. Whenever you commit a crime, each opponent mills 3 cards, so you can just like stack mill with this one. And then let's look at some artifacts. Look at this beautiful card. As you can see, this is a follow card, the Codex Shredder, and you can make a target player mill a card. And you know, if you have like this out or other stuff that is crimey, they just boost each other. And you can sacrifice it to get a target card from your graveyard to your hand, but really this is just for the mill. And let's look at some more stuff. You know, is Monarch, Arcane Signet, what's this? A spaceship going on, it's station ability. So this is kind of a fun thing they have on this card. So for 1, whenever a person discard a card, they lose 3 life. So that's fun because they're gonna discard cards with this deck. And for 8, when it attacks, each opponent discard a card. Each opponent that can't lose 3 life. So first of all, you discard a card. When they do that, they lose 3 life. And whenever opponent discard a card, they lose 3 life. So you're just gonna take away life with this one. I think it's kind of fun. And you know, sometimes you just want to play like good looking cards in your deck. They don't always have to be the best. This is a good one, 310, you know. But some cards just like, this looks good, you know, to play it. Soul Ring, normal stuff, nothing specific. The Water Crystal. So blue spells you cast cost 1 less, and this is really good because with the Petitioners there's 1 colorless and 1 blue, so instead of costing 2, they just cost 1. So you reduce the cost to play your the bulk of your creatures with 50% is half the price. And also, that's not enough, right? We need some more stuff. If an opponent would mill 1 or more cards, they mill that many cards plus 4 instead. So just an engine to just keep the mill going on. And wait, there's more. For 4 colorless, 2 blue, each opponent mills cards equal to the numbers of cards in your hand. So yeah, get those cards up and make people mill. This is a really mean card or a good card. The first is just that any number of target mills 2 cards, nothing specific, but look at the exhaust ability. Any number of target player each mills cards equal to the numbers of cards in the graveyard. So it's gonna pump the mill, make people mill, put stuff in the graveyard, boom, then mill again. Thought Vessel, no maximum hand size, because you have stuff that can, it's good to have like a Thought Vessel, a Mana Rock. And just, Dimir Signet, just to get that mana going. And then, let's look at some instances. Battle Rage Blessing, target creature gains death just indestructible, just, a bit of protection. Murder, get rid of stuff. Drone in Dreams, let's go with the mill again. So you can do that target player draws X cards, card draw is always good. Now target player mills twice X card, and if you control a commander, you can do both of them. This is a really good card. This I just put into this deck to just, mill, great, card draw, great, and this does both. Cackling Counterpart. I can create a token that's a copy of target creature control, and since most of the creatures are the Petioneers for 2, but you have some stronger creatures that's strong in the mill game, so good thing to have. Also has flashback. Go for the Trough, destroy target non-artifact creature, just a bit of protection. More mill and card draw, reenact the crime. This is exile target non-land card in a graveyard that was put there from anywhere this turn. Copy it and you make cast a copy without paying its mana cost. And you can do it with your own stuff, right? With your sorcerers, with your instances. And also, since you're putting so much stuff into other people's graveyards, you have the ability to, sneak in stuff from their game. Did anyone say board wipe? Of course. A bit expensive, but this also had ability besides to destroy all creatures. And play each mill library rounded down. So it's a board wipe with a mill included. Aethergale, sooner or later you're gonna find cards that stop your gameplay, that stops the ability to mill or tap or just whatever. If you watch our Valentine special, you notice that Andres had this card that makes his creature stronger each time a creature is tapped, but not attacking. And this is a deck where you want to tap your creatures for mill, not attack. So you just have something to, you don't have to exile it or destroy it, but just get rid of it for one turn. And if you need to destroy, sorry about that, if you need to destroy something, this is a creature or enchantment remover. You lose life equal to whatever. And as I said in earlier deck techs, I think that enchantment remover is super important, because sooner or later you will face something that really slows down your game. Goes with Prison or Propaganda is something that blocks your ability to play the deck that you wanted to play it. And just again, a bit of mill and card draw. Mill, as I said earlier, this is a mill deck, and if you can add something that also gives you card draw, that's really good. And I think this is so nice, it actually says what mill does. To mill a card, put the top card of your library into your graveyard. Rush of the Dread, again a bit of a removal. You can spread it and just do sacrifice creatures, discard cards in hand, or lose half of the life. Discarding, your hand, that's kind of mean, and get rid of stuff is kind of mean. And discarding and milling your opponent helps your advisors as well. This card I used to look through stuff from a Magic set, Thanos Beyond Death, I think it's called, that it didn't have anything from. So just for fun, just look through and see what the set is about. And I found this card, and as soon as I saw the art of this, it's like, wow, this is, this is just crazy. And so let's see what it does with Oblivion. Another mill? Sure, there we go. This is from the Spider-Man scene box. Where you can put all this card into like a bigger picture, and you have like this scene. So this is Dr. Octopus tentacles and Spider-Man's legs, and anyway, this is another mill. Target upon mill 8 cards, and in addition, you may put an artifact card from that place graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. Everyone is playing Sol Ring or a Mana Rock, and if they don't have like an artifact deck and an artifact, there should be like at least a Mana Rock. Sometimes you find something that's way better. So we're at sorceries now, right? This is the quasi-duplicate. You can create a token that's a copy for target creature control, and you can also jumpstart it. It's a good way to get in another great mill creature. This is a really good looking fun card from Adventures in Forgotten Realms. So if you play the Dungeons and Dragons, maybe you know the spell, Touch the City's Laughter. It makes your opponents just fall down on the floor and laugh and having the best time of his or her life. And of course, maybe you're having the best time of your life when each opponent exiles card from the top of the library until that player exile card with mana value 20 or more. So if you're lucky and you're like facing someone who plays like low mana cost cards, you can just burn through the deck and just get rid of stuff. And even if you don't, 20 or more, you get rid of the expensive, bad, annoying, disturbing stuff. And we can't have people laughing all the time. Sometimes you have to traumatize them. Target player put the top of his library rounded down into her graveyard. Mean! But mill is mean. Or mill is love. Arms of Hadar, sooner or later you're gonna meet someone who pumps out all these little annoying tokens, all these rat or squirrels or birds or whatever. So this is a good way. This is like all the creatures. I call this like the token remover, the creature token remover, because they're usually 1/1 or 2/2s. Just a good way to like open up the battlefield. Maddening Cacophony, if I say it right. Each opponent mills 8 card. Let's do the kicker. And then they mill half the library rounded up. Mill. Row class. This is again a card that I played lots in my crime deck, which let's have earlier. But anyway, this is a way to get rid of stuff. And not only that, if level 3 you can play those cards that you have got rid of. When a creature does combat damage, and with the Fleet Swallower that I show you earlier, you want to make that unblockable, and then not only mill, but steal card more or less. Unstoppable Plan. Okay. This is obviously a good card. At the beginning of your end step, untap all non-land permanents you control. Okay, so with this deck, you want to tap your creature for mill, you want to tap them for mill, you want to tap them for mill. Usually, as I said, you do it like just before your turn start, at the end step of the player before you. So you don't leave your field open. If you tap everything, you have no blockers and people who swing at you and be mean to you. This, you can do it at your own turn, because at the end step, you will untap them. So it means instead of doing it like once per 4 turns, you can do it at your own turn as well, and then before your turn starts, because you can just untap them. Fraying Sanity, another card. Oh, I love this card. It's such a beautiful art. Anyways, this is a card that makes people, the enchanted player, at the beginning of each end step. This is important, not just your end step or the enchanted player's end step, but each end step. Enchanted player top X card into the library, from the library into the graveyard, where X is the number of card put in the graveyard for anywhere this turn. So just pick your, I don't know, your enemy. Just pick the one you want to put a curse on. Mill stuff, and at each end step you have like another mill trigger. Let's keep on being mean. Parasitic Impetus. I usually play like some kind of aura that goes an opponent, and you know, you have the red one that I think gives you treasures. This is life instead, lose life and gain life. And you know, mill is good. You put stuff into the graveyard until you meet the player that can get stuff back from the graveyard, like resurrection, zombie shenanigans, whatever. And usually having stuff in the graveyard, it's like good for you if your opponent has it because it's out of the game. But there are some sneaky players that can get it back. So Bazooka Bob. I would say if you play black in any way, try to have a Bazooka Bob in it. It enters tapped, it's a black mana, but it has the ability to exile target player's graveyard. You have Brawn for green players, critical taste. You have Anger for red players, critical taste. Just get rid of that. We don't need it, right? Black Dragon Gate, so this is just land. Black and another color. Dimir Aqueduct. This you have to play this way with you like tap, play, and then you play tap because you have to get a land back in your hand. It's the same way with this one, but this is like, you know, kind of a Sol Ring as a land almost because it's 2 colorless mana. Temple of the False God, staple. Waterfront District, this is a nice looking art, isn't it? So this is just, I would say these are all just like standard mana rock, or standard lands for the mirror. This is, of course, is the mill card. The mill land card in the failure drawn yard. That's for colorless, or you can make a target player mill card. Since you have the ability to mill with just tapping your creatures, the persistent ones, you can use mana to like do other things, like this one. A Reliquary Tower, River of Tears, Aquafire, a good looking swamp. Oops, we had a sorcery hiding in here. Maybe not best card for 4 mana, but still kind of fun. It's a card draw and discard in the same way as I showed earlier. Good to have both. And then we just have basic lands. And since we're playing Dimir, we're playing black and blue, we're having the swamps. And we're having the islands. Usually I try to run 37 land cards in my deck. Because that's like the best mathematical chance to start with 3 land cards in your hand and draw a card, and you know, there is a system to it. I have a bit fewer land cards in this, mostly because the creatures I want to get out are kind of cheap, and mostly because I don't have to pay for the ability to tap them to mill. So yeah, I think this is a really fun deck. It's kind of mean because people usually don't like mill. People usually don't like to see the other like best cards or the cards going to the graveyard. And this is a very strong focus mill. This is a deck that can very quickly mill lots and lots and lots of your card. You play this card to mill, and you win with this card to mill. Sure, you can pump your creatures up quite strong because they get plus counters, but you don't really want to attack with them. That's not what you're doing with this deck. Maybe with the Fleet Swallower because it's like that's a damage trigger, but everything else, all your advisors, so like lots of them in this deck, they should just be available to mill and be able to block when your opponents start swinging at you. I don't know why people should swing at you. It's just mill. Mill is nice. Mill is fun. We all love mill, right? So yeah, that's Lonely Royal Advisors, my Dimir mill deck.
Wow, that is a super fucking nasty you have there. What the fuck, man?
Yeah.
I really love your build around the advisor thing there.
Yes.
Not only that, you get a big wall of advisor there. Like every kind of person mill a card, the Milu, discard a card, Milu, put counters, and not only that, you have like a big ward to protect yourself for attack as well. That is super good.
Besides, like 1 or 2 or 3 creatures, all the creatures, you don't want to attack.
Exactly, yeah.
You want to, as you said, build up a wall and put on the mill, and just stand back and wait for people to get rid of the library. And the thing with this card is usually, with the advisor and with the commander, when you mill, you don't only mill, something else good happens to your deck. So this is kind of a deck that has dual triggers. When you mill, something happens.
Yeah.
And exactly with like these cards, which you put counters on them, you kind of easily, kind of quickly build up a wall. And you sit with them.
I think that's something that was missing within the mill from like a year ago, 2 years ago, something like that. That when a person do a mill, that person rather is tapped out or no creature left there, so the rest of the table can swing at that person.
Yes.
But Milu provides the different way. No, you have protection now. You can do it on someone else.
I think this deck is fun because you're using your creatures more for like, not as attackers or not mainly as blockers, even though you do it, but the ability to do stuff against other people. So they're more like sorcerers, instant triggers than creature that's out fighting. It's like sneaking in and milling people. And you have the sorcerers, you have the instances that also help you with the mill, and like some like protection, some removal. Always good to have.
Yeah. And one thing I was thinking about when you show your deck there, the insta card for blue and X Drone in Dreams.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's even better than you think, because not only your X, your mill person, but you draw cards.
Yes.
But it's a target player.
Yeah.
So you can target someone who have no graveyard.
Yes.
In order like, you don't get your upkeep.
Yeah.
You just die there. That is so good.
That's really good, because as you said, that card you can target someone else, but you can also target yourself.
Yeah.
And there's like creature that go stronger based on your hand size.
Exactly.
Like your hand size. So this is a fun deck. It just wants to do one thing. It just wants to mill.
Yeah.
Of course, since a mill deck. But when you're doing mill, you're doing other stuff as well, usually at your own deck. So it's like you're attacking your opponent with mill, but you're like gaining a benefit more than just having people put stuff in the graveyard. So I think this is a really fun deck.
I also love Dreambow Muse.
Yes,
I think it's called. It's so good. Like beginner upkeep, each player mills cards. Depending the hand size, it's so good.
I think usually when you play Magic, you have your attacker, you have a blocker. You want to swing, you want to do that. You want to see what's on the people's like board state.
Yeah,
this is the deck where you just kind of sit back and
just chill down
a little bit, and play a little instant sorcerer, and just like you don't really go in fighting with this deck. You just like go for the mill, and just like this is a sneaky deck. And I know that some people don't like playing against mill because you just take away the cards and they don't really play the game.
Why?
But I think that I play mill myself. I face mill. I think mill is it's a bit mean, but a lot of thing in Magic that's mean.
Is mean.
Yeah. And I think mill can be fun, So
I think mill is like hard to get through.
Yeah.
One is because it's a mechanic not often you win.
Yes.
But it's a fun alternative win con. And not only that, I think like the power creep today, it gets so past now. I mean, draw power for commander is super strong. I think that's why, like, if we go back to Dreambow Muse, I think it's like so good because the draw power in today's commanders is like, how do you take you can draw something like that. In Dreambow Muse get so much bigger and more important than like, you draw like 10 cards? Cool, how many cards you have? 12? Maybe 12 then. It's so good in like not today's meta, but today's commander play we have seen, at least today's power creep.
There are some like mean mechanics in Magic. I don't think that mill is like that mean compared to like infect or poison or that's like a lot of word stuff. This just like take your cards from one place to another place. It's not such a big deal. It's just a little bit of meal.
I'm surrounded by horrible people, if you know it. So with poison, there with the meal there. I'm thinking me and Roy lost the innocent babies here, right?
Yes. This is Andrews, by the way, just a baby.
This
is everyone's being like mean to
exactly,
Andrews.
just a baby.
Just a baby. Thanks for watching.
Thank you so much.
Please put in some comments and thoughts about meal, and if you play meal, if you're like what you thought about facing meal players. And stay tuned for another episode.
Exactly.
I
just want to know if you have faced Milu in a command bot, and how strong is she?
Luli, come on. It's a 3-3.
Yeah. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.